My husband knows how to do nice things. Just sometimes a little humor
Get your
can
story
get you
out.
through.
I'm unfortunately not going to tell the other half of that story, but maybe next time. So one night when I was 19, I snuggled into my mom's shoulder and I very subtly tested the waters. I was like, Mom, what would be worse right now? If I was gay, which I'm not, or if I was pregnant, which I'm not. And she said the latter because she had firsthand experience with a very unexpected pregnancy. Shout out to my dad. But I was pretty sure she knew what I was trying to say. I just couldn't say the words because I learned pretty early on that my general me-ness came with some side effects. Before that, the closest I had come to coming out was when I was 4 years old. My parents had some friends over and they're all kind of like laughing and joking about tough nicknames they wish they had. My mom said she wanted something like Ace or Scar. And I ran up and said, I want to be called Dyke. But at that point, no one really thought too much of it because when I was 4, I had hair so long that it touched my butt. She couldn't be gay. But then a couple months later, I asked my mom if I could cut off all of my hair into a very stylish bowl cut. And despite her knowing that I would look exactly like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber, she agreed. And from that point on, I was mistaken for a little boy every single day. And at first, I didn't really care or like even understand. When the girls on my new soccer team first saw me, they were running around being like, "There's a boy on the team, there's a boy on the team." And I was like, "What? Where?" I'll get him. But then I got a little older and I changed schools, and my first day I was kicked out of the girls' restroom. Getting kicked out of the bathroom was kind of like not getting into the popular nightclub. It's like, you don't understand, I need to be in there. I promise that's my real ID. But I was too shy to tell them that I was actually a girl, so I left quietly and I pooped my little pants. This was in college, no. Oh man. Okay. Gosh. But this was the beginnings of me hiding the most exciting parts of myself because I started to feel shame about who I was. We've all heard the difference between being alone and being lonely, but for a lot of my childhood, I was both. I was an only child, shout out to my mom. I was a quiet kid, and as my dad once put it, she's not a sharer. That wasn't a joke. But as I got older, I started to try to blend in. You know, I grew out the bowl cut, I adopted the bun. I stopped shopping in the boys section and I wore jeans to school. I wondered when I would stop liking girls and start liking boys, and I pretended to like the boys so I could hang out with the girls. They used to ask to dress me up and do my makeup, and I kind of liked that because they were touching my face. So hot. But the more they dressed me up, the more I couldn't recognize myself. You know, I had no idea what was going on inside of me. And then when I was 15, I saw a trailer for The L Word. And I was like, oh. Fuck. Like, this is what I am. This isn't just gonna go away. So I started watching it in secret in my grandmother's basement suite for research. And my grandmother, she was pretty supportive of this actually because she was blind and deaf. I would tell my parents that I was going down there to watch sports and that I really leaned into being a secret gay. I could do this for my whole life, I thought. I could be gay alone. And then one day when Shane and Carmen, the hottest will they won't they couple ever, finally have their big makeout scene, season 2, episode 3. I hear my dad open my grandmother's door to come in and watch the basketball I was watching with me. So I scrambled for the remote, like fumbled to press the back button, then pretended to be chill and calm and not at all turned on. My dad was like, "Who's playing, Kels?" And I was like, the Lakers. I wanted to kill my dad. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Women are kissing right now, and we're watching men run around on a little court trying to get a ball through a circle?" That's when I knew I had to come out. I didn't want to spend my life being gay interrupted. I wanted to be gay all the time. But I still couldn't find the confidence. What I did find was a website, one that I would only look at in secret, one that I did not want my parents to be looking at. Say it with me. Pornhub. Thank you, honey. You're still wrong every time. It was called After Ellen, and After Ellen, R.I.P., was a pop culture website for like all things lesbian, and for me, it was revolutionary. It became like my nightlife. Like I would go to bed and then be up until 4 a.m. devouring all of these things that made me feel so normal. And on this website was this little tiny talk show called This Just Out, hosted by Liz Feldman in her home kitchen, and she had only lesbian guests on the show. They were all her friends. She wasn't alone. And at the end of every episode, she would point a rainbow sword at the camera and say, "You're so gay." I had never heard that be said as a positive thing before. And I got hyper. I was like, "You're right, dude, I am so gay." So after that night where I gave my mom her pop quiz, I got up the courage to tell her the truth. Through an email. Through a wall, really, from my bedroom to hers. And like any real lesbian would, I wrote her a poem. It's time to tell you what I am, an lesbian. Guys, I don't think that rhymes. I was going through a lot. But I hovered my mouse over the send button, clicked it, closed my computer, and I tried to sleep. And the next morning, my mom came into my bedroom before she left for work. And she sat on my bed, and she put her hand on my shoulder, and I kept my face hidden under the pillows. And she said, "Honey, duh." "Can I tell your father?" And I said, "Yes, please," because I didn't want to have to write another poem. I'm not that gay. Thank you, guys.